Imagine a scream ripping through the fog, a knife glinting under a flickering street lamp, and a sketch that knows your face before your heart stops. Welcome to San Francisco, 1974, where the night breeds killers who vanish like smoke. It's January 25th, a bone-chilling evening on Ocean Beach, when a frantic call crackles into the SFPD switchboard. There's a body near Ulloa Street. I ain't touching it, man. We tear out, tires skidding on wet pavement, headlights slicing the mist. There, sprawled in the sand, is Gerald Kavanaugh, 50 years old, a quiet regular at the city's gritty bars. 6 jagged stab wounds tear through his chest and back, blood pooling dark beneath him, staining the dunes red. But what freezes us isn't the carnage. It's the crumpled scrap of paper clutched in his stiff, cold hand. A rough, frantic sketch of his own face stares up, eyes wide with dread, mouth twisted in a silent gasp, like someone perched there in the dark, pencil scratching furiously, capturing his final moments before the blade sank deep. That's just the opening act of a nightmare that won't quit. Over the next 18 months, death creeps through the city's shadows. At least 5 more men, all gay, all woven into San Francisco's pulsing underground, meet the same brutal fate in desolate corners where the streetlights don't reach. Joseph Stevens, 27, a laborer scraping by with big dreams, falls on May 10th, 74, 7 vicious stabs to the gut in Golden Gate Park. His body slumped near a winding trail found by a dog walker at first light. Harold Gullberg, a Norwegian sailor passing through on shore leave, goes down on June 27th, 75. 8 savage cuts in Lincoln Park, discovered by a jogger as the sun creeps up. Each time, the killer leaves his calling card, a crude, haunting drawing tucked in a pocket, or dropped beside the corpse. Penciled lines tracing their faces in a grotesque farewell. We call him the Doodler, the Sketcher, a phantom who glides through the Castro's neon glow, the smoky haze of the stud, picking his prey with a sly grin and a sketch pad. By mid-75, we've got 6 bodies, 3 survivors too terrified to testify, and a pile of sketches that mock us from the evidence locker. 6 faces frozen in death, staring back with empty eyes. No witnesses dare speak, no fingerprints stick, just a specter who owns these streets, slipping through our fingers like the fog itself. Now, let's twist the tale and dream up something wild. Picture it's still 1974, but the SFPD has a secret weapon, artificial intelligence straight out of a science fiction flick. Imagine the precinct, typewriters clacking, cigarette smoke curling through the air, but also machines humming with cold, relentless precision. Tools that devour data, unravel lies in a trembling voice, paint crime scenes in glowing grids of light. I'm Daniel Cunningham, a detective in this reimagined 74, standing in a cluttered room, my trench coat dripping fog water onto the floor. I've got an arsenal of AI at my fingertips, data analyzers that sift through every scrap of paper, voice detectors that catch a heartbeat stutter, simulators that rewind the clock on a murder's chaos. As I slide Gerald's sketch into the scanner, the air buzzes with static, and a metallic voice cuts through the haze. Data loaded. Suspect profile initiating. I'll find him. The screen flares to life, that chilling drawing filling the frame. Gerald's face, etched in stark, shaky lines, staring back like a ghost trapped in time. My hands tighten on the desk, my breath catching. In the real 74, we're drowning in dead ends, chasing whispers that fade into the mist. But with these machines humming beside me, could they pierce the fog, unmask the Doodler, and stop him before the next sketch hits the table? Or are we just handing a monster a new way to play his game? Something too smart, too cold, that might see deeper into the dark than we're ready to look. All right, folks, let's get up close and personal. Meet me, Daniel Cunningham, SFPD detective, 1974. I'm 32, sporting a shaggy mop of brown hair that flops over my ears, a chipped front tooth from a bar scuffle I keep mum about, and a leather jacket so worn it's practically a second skin, patched with fog and cigarette ash. My office is a battlefield. Coffee rings bleed into crumpled reports, an ashtray overflows with mashed-out Lucky Strikes, and the wall's a grim shrine. Photos of Gerald Kavanaugh, Joseph Stevens, Harold Goldberg, their faces staring down like ghosts I can't shake. Gerald hit the sand hard on January 25th, 74. 6 vicious stabs at Ocean Beach. That cursed sketch clutched tight in his hand like a final plea. Joseph went down May 10th. 7 gut-twisting cuts in Golden Gate Park, found by a guy walking his scruffy mutt as the sun crept up. Harold, a Norwegian sailor with a wanderer's grin, took 8 in Lincoln Park, June 75, sprawled near the cliffs where the wind moans through the pines. All gay, all snatched from joints like the Stud or the Castro's dive bars, places where disco pulses through sticky floors, neon flickers over chipped tumblers, and the air's a stew of sweat, cheap cologne, and unspoken deals. I've pounded that pavement night after night, slipped through those crowds with my collar up, ears straining for whispers about a guy with a sketch pad, some lanky shadow who's turned these streets into his canvas. Months in, and I'm still swinging at air, just a hollow ache that drags me from sleep, staring at those drawings till my eyes sting and the room tilts like a bad drunk. This case isn't just a gig, it's carved into me, deep as the lines on those sketches. I grew up in this city, raced bikes down Potrero Hill as a kid, dodging streetcars and laughing into the wind. I watched San Francisco bloom with flower children, free love, and rebellion. Haight-Ashbury's haze, the summer of love still echoing in the air. Now it's a slaughterhouse, and I'm the poor bastard tasked with mopping up the blood. I've knocked on doors till my knuckles bruised, leaned hard on barflies who slur half-truths over warm beer, chased leads that vanish faster than the fog lifts at noon. I've sat across from guys at the Stud. Good folks, regulars with quick laughs and tired eyes, who freeze when I say Doodler. Their hands shake, spilling drinks, and they mutter, "Ain't seen nothin'," even when I can smell the lie on their breath. I've stood in the Castro at midnight, watching the crowd spill out. Lovers arm in arm, loners nursing whiskeys, knowing one of them might be next, and I can't stop it. Last week, the brass drags me in. Captain Rossi, big gut, bigger temper, looms over his desk, cigar smoke wreathing his graying mustache like a storm cloud. "Cunningham!" he growls, voice rough as a gravel road. "We're switching gears. Got new tech. AI, straight from the lab rats downtown. Machines that think, analyze, dig where we can't." I kick my boots up, smirking through a puff of smoke. Machines? I trust my gut, Cap. Been in those alleys, felt the blood stick to my shoes. What's a box of wires know about that? He slams a meaty fist down, desk quaking, papers sliding. It knows more than you after 6 months of zilch. You're using it, or you're off this case. Done. So here I am, dragged down to the precinct's basement, a damp, flickering pit they've christened the tech room. It's all wrong here. The buzz of dying fluorescents casting long shadows, the whir of fans struggling to cool these hulking machines. the sharp tang of ozone slicing through the usual stink of stale coffee and despair. I'm staring at this AI setup, tangled cords snaking across the cracked concrete, screens glowing green and amber like something out of a sci-fi flick, a scanner that hums low and steady, alive with purpose. It's not just one tool, it's a whole damn crew. A data analyzer chewing through my files, a voice detector hooked to my beat-up tape recorder, a simulator spitting out crime scenes in grainy, glowing 3D. I toss in the works: Gerald's autopsy report, Joseph's witness logs, the sketches, every scrap of paper I've bled over. The data analyzer kicks on, and a cold, flat voice fills the room. Processing 6 homicides, January 1974 to present. Victim profile: male, homosexual, aged 27 to 50. Method: stabbing, multiple wounds, erratic patterns. Evidence: sketches at each scene. I mutter under my breath. Yeah, genius. Tell me something I haven't lost sleep over. It keeps rolling. Analysis complete. Suspect likely male, 20 to 25, artistic background, probable local resident. I snort, flicking ash onto the floor. Great. That narrows it to half the art school dropouts in the Castro, sketching nudes for spare change. Then there's Harvey, one of 3 who danced with this bastard and lived. I tracked him down 2 nights back, cornered him in a dive off Market Street, a grimy hole where the beer's flat, the lights buzz like dying flies, and the jukebox groans out dusty Springfield's heartbreak. He's wiry, maybe 35, with sunken cheeks and a twitchy way about him, hands trembling as he fumbles a cigarette to his lips, the match flaring briefly in the gloom. He was tall, Harvey whispers, voice barely cutting through the bar's haze, smoke curling around his words. Skinny, dark skin, young, 20s, I'd bet. Sat next to me at the stud, started sketching me on a napkin, said it was a gift, real smooth-like, voice soft as silk. Next thing, we're in the parking lot, and he's got a knife at my throat, eyes cold as the bay. I bolted, barely made it. He won't meet my gaze, keeps his eyes on the scarred tabletop, ash falling like snow. I ain't testifying, man. He'll find me, finish what he started. I record every word on my battered tape deck, shove it into the AI's voice analyzer later that night. The machine whirs, gears grinding, then spits out, heart rate elevated 30% at suspect mention. Vocal stress indicates withheld details. Possible additional witness or threat. I slam my fist on the desk, chair scraping back with a screech. Don't you dare call Harvey a liar, you soulless pile of junk. He's scared out of his damn mind. You wouldn't get it. You don't feel a thing. The voice hums back, unshaken. I detect patterns. I do not feel fear. That's when the real fight sinks its teeth in. I'm a street cop, born and bred, raised on hunches that burn in my gut, on the feel of a lead turning hot under my calloused hands. I've dodged fists in tenderloin brawls, stared down drunks waving switchblades in the Mission, felt the city's heartbeat in my bones through every chase, every bust. These machines? They don't taste the salt air whipping off Ocean Beach, don't hear the crack in a man's voice when he's reliving a nightmare with a blade at his neck. They sit there, blinking and humming, spitting out stats like they own the truth. No sweat, no soul. But Rossi's got me pinned, his orders ringing in my ears, and the bodies keep dropping. Gerald, Joseph, Harold, each one a stone in my chest, dragging me down. My partner, Eddie, a rookie with a mop of curls and too much hope, leans in from the corner, voice soft but firm. Dan, give it a shot. What if it catches something we're missing? We owe it to them, to Gerald, to every guy who didn't make it home. I glare at him, then at the screens, where Gerald's sketch glows like a taunt, those pencil lines accusing me of letting him down. I stub out my smoke, grinding it into the desk, jaw clenched so tight it aches. "Fine," I growl, voice low and bitter as the bay wind. "Run your damn contraptions, but if this flops, I'm smashing 'em to bits with my own hands." The AI hums louder, screens flickering with data, and I feel it. A cold spark of dread snaking up my spine, sharp as a knife. These tools might hunt the Doodler down, might even corner him where I can't. But what else are they digging up from the shadows? Something I can't bury again once it's loose. All right, folks, hold tight. We're plunging deeper into the murky underbelly of San Francisco, 1974, where the Doodler's shadow grows darker with every sleepless night, and I'm starting to feel the weight of it all pressing down. I'm Daniel Cunningham, still running on bitter coffee and a chain of lucky strikes, holed up in the precinct's basement with this AI setup that's become my reluctant partner. The tech room is a cavern. Flickering fluorescent lights buzz overhead like angry wasps, cooling fans whine against the heat of these hulking machines, and the air carries a sharp tang of ozone mixed with the stale reek of desperation. I'm feeding the system everything I've got, every jagged piece of this nightmare case piling up like a debt I can't pay. First up is Gerald Kavanaugh's file. January 25th. Ocean Beach. 6 brutal stab wounds through his chest and back. That haunting sketch gripped in his lifeless hand like a final testament. Next, Joseph Stevens. May 10th, Golden Gate Park, 7 vicious cuts tearing into his abdomen, discovered by a dog walker as the morning fog peeled back at dawn. Then, Harold Goldberg, June 27th, 1975. Lincoln Park. 8 savage slashes, his body sprawled near the cliffs where the wind wails through the pines. I've got a stack of reports, autopsies scribbled in hurried ink, witness statements muddled by fear or liquor, bar tabs smudged with bourbon rings, and those 6 sketches, sealed in evidence bags, glaring up at me with an eerie stillness, as if they're daring me to crack their secret. The data analyzer springs to life, its cold, mechanical voice slicing through the basement's gloom. Processing 6 homicides, January 1974 to June 1975. Victim profile: male, homosexual, aged 27 to 50. Method: stabbing, multiple wounds, increasing ferocity. Evidence: sketches, uniform artistic style. I lean back in my creaking chair, boots propped on an overturned crate, muttering through a cloud of smoke. "Yeah, we know he's a madman with a knife. Give me something I can sink my teeth into." It hums louder, relentless. Pattern identified. Kill sites, isolated yet accessible. Ocean Beach, Golden Gate Park, Lincoln Park. Suspect selects locations for privacy and minimal interruption. I nod slowly, exhaling a plume, the bastard's clever striking where the city's pulse fades to a murmur, where cries vanish into the fog. The AI has my full attention now, pulling me in despite my instincts screaming to pull back. Victim acquisition, it states flatly, likely initiated at social centers, the Stud, Castro District bars, established homosexual hangouts. Suspect engages targets socially. Conversation, sketching, before luring them to isolated areas. I can see those places clear as day. Neon signs humming over cracked sidewalks, disco beats throbbing through open doors, the clink of glasses and bursts of laughter spilling into the night air. I've stood outside the Stud past midnight, collar turned up against the damp chill, watching the crowd stumble out. Lovers arm in arm, loners nursing their last whiskeys, wondering who's next in his sights. I've smelled the spilled beer on the bar tops, felt the bass vibrate through my boots, caught the fleeting glances that linger too long in the haze. The voice interrupts again. Wound analysis, stabs erratic, deep, excessive, indicative of rage or personal conflict. Probability 80%. Suspect is homosexual, suppressing identity, targeting reflections of himself. I freeze mid-drag, cigarette dangling from my lips, ash tumbling to the floor. You're telling me he's one of them? Killing his own people? It hums, unshaken. Data suggests internal turmoil, self-hatred externalized through violence. That lands like a punch to the chest. I've seen the shame woven into this city. Men ducking into shadows, hiding from families, from cops, from fists swinging in dark alleys. Could the Doodler be one of them, sketching out his own torment, spilling it into the night with every slash? My mind races, replaying every barstool confession, every nervous twitch I've witnessed in those neon-lit haunts. The machine presses on, rolling out theories like a dealer shuffling a deck. Hypothesis 1, it declares, suspect is a student, artistic, aged 20 to 25, San Francisco resident. Murders triggered by rejection or exposure of his sexual identity. I picture a kid at the San Francisco Art Institute, hunched over a desk by day, sketching portraits in charcoal during class, then prowling the Castro by night. Maybe spurned at a bar, pride wounded, knife twitching in his pocket as he nurses the sting. Hypothesis 2. Suspect is a predator, deliberate and methodical, employs sketches as bait, preys on the trusting or vulnerable. That tracks, too. A smooth operator sliding into a booth with a disarming grin, sketchpad open like a trap, charming his way past defenses until it's too late. I've overheard the bar talk at closing. Some guy drew me last week, real nice. Where'd he disappear to? Then, Hypothesis 3. Suspect has an accomplice. Soil samples from Golden Gate Park, May 10th. Secondary footprints detected, smaller size, distinct tread pattern. I jolt upright, chair scraping the concrete, ash scattering like confetti. Wait a damn minute. 2 of them? The AI continues, unfazed. Witness statement, May 11th. 2 figures observed departing park at dusk. Initially dismissed as unreliable. Reassessed probability, 70%. I claw through the file, fingers smudging faded ink. And there it is, a trembling note from a hippie girl named Lila, claiming she saw 2 guys bolting through the trees, but we brushed her off as stoned out of her mind. My pulse hammers in my ears. Did we let a second killer slip through our fingers all this time? I can't stay put. This is too big to ignore. I grab Eddie, my rookie partner with his mop of curls and relentless grit, and we tear out to Golden Gate Park, the AI's soil analyzer rattling in the trunk of my battered Ford Falcon. It's dusk when we arrive, the park's winding trails snaking silent under towering redwoods, fog creeping in like a shroud, softening the edges of the world. I walk Eddie through it, voice low and tight. Joseph Stevens, 27, laborer, stabbed right here, May 10th. 7 cuts, deep, chaotic. He didn't have a prayer. Dog walker stumbled on him at 6 a.m. Blood soaked into the dirt near that stone staircase over there. We reach the spot, overgrown with ferns, the air heavy with damp earth and pine, and I set up the analyzer, a clunky box with probes and blinking lights straight out of a cheap sci-fi flick. It hums to life, sucking up soil samples, then spits out in its tinny voice, secondary footprints detected. Size 8, worn tread, consistent with 1970s sneakers, distinct from victim's size 10 work boots. My stomach lurches. I drop to my knees, digging with my hands, dirt caking under my nails until I pull up a shred of rubber. Old, cracked, buried shallow, like a forgotten clue. Matches the time frame, the AI confirms, its speaker crackling. Eddie's eyes widen, his voice cracking with disbelief. "Two guys, Dan? We've been chasing one shadow this whole time? And there's another out there?" I growl, wiping mud on my jeans as I stand. Maybe. Or maybe this thing's feeding us a line. But I'm rattled. Those prints are real, etched into the earth, and they don't belong to Joseph. Back at the precinct, I'm pacing like a caged beast, feeding more into the AI, Harvey's tape, bar logs, witness fragments, anything I can scrape together. The voice analyzer takes Harvey's recording from that dive bar off Market Street. Tall, skinny, dark skin, young. Drew me at the stud, then pulled a knife in the parking lot. It whirs, gears grinding, then declares stress peaks at knife. Heart rate spikes 35%. Subject omits critical details. Possible second presence during assault. I curse under my breath, smoke burning my throat. Harvey's holding back. But what the hell's he hiding? I picture that parking lot. Dark, deserted, gravel crunching underfoot. Could someone else have been there, lurking in the shadows, whispering in the bastard's ear? Then the data analyzer chimes in, sharp and cold. Cross-referencing suspect pool. Carl Grayson, 25, bartender at the Stud, tall, slim, dark complexion. Questioned May 1974 after Stevens' homicide. Alibi provided by co-worker deemed insufficient. Released. I stop dead, cigarette falling to the floor with a soft hiss. Carl. I can see him now, clear as a Polaroid. Quiet guy, worked the bar, always doodling on napkins during slow shifts, hands quick and steady with a pencil. We grilled him after Joseph, pressed him till sweat beaded on his brow, but his buddy, a twitchy barback named Pete, swore Carl was pouring shots all night. No gaps. The AI adds, Grayson resides Castro District, 1974 census, 2 blocks from the Stud. Probability of involvement? 65%. I fumble for another smoke, hands trembling. Local, fits the profile, right in the kill zone. Could he be the guy we've been hunting? The pieces are stacking up fast, and I'm too deep to turn back now. I hit the Stud again, solo this time. Neon sign buzzing like a swarm of bees, disco thumping, staying alive through the walls. The crowd a blur of bell-bottoms, glitter vests, and platform shoes. I lean on the bar, flashing my badge to the barkeep. A grizzled vet with a handlebar mustache and a chipped front tooth, wiping a glass with a stained rag. Carl Grayson, I say, keeping my voice low under the music. He shrugs, squinting at me. Quit a month back. Said he was heading south, maybe L.A. Drew a lot of folks, though. Real talent, quick hands, always sketching. I slide Joseph's sketch across the bar, watching his face like a hawk. His eyes narrow, mustache twitching slightly. Looks like Carl's style. Messy, fast, got that raw edge. My pulse slams in my chest, too close to dismiss. Back at the basement, I feed this to the AI simulator, hands slick with sweat on the controls. It rebuilds Joseph's night in flickering 3D. May 10th, 11 p.m., the Stud, suspect sketches victim at bar, engages in casual conversation, offers to walk out together. 1 a.m., exit to Golden Gate Park. Attack at 1:30. 7 stabs, rapid succession. Then it freezes, zooming in on the scene. Secondary figure detected. Soil data aligns. Shadow moves parallel, 5 meters back. I stare at the screen, 2 shapes flickering in the grainy light, one with a knife flashing, the other hovering just out of focus. Who the hell's the second guy? I mutter, voice rough as sandpaper. The AI hums back. Insufficient data. Additional witness or physical evidence required. I'm hooked now, caught in the web these machines are spinning. I can't shake it loose. I hit the streets again, Castro at midnight, lights flashing off wet pavement, laughter spilling from bars, the air crackling with life and danger. I corner a regular, Tommy, a skinny kid in bell-bottoms and a peace sign necklace, outside a dive called The Eagle, cigarette dangling from his lips. "Carl Grayson," I say, showing him Joseph's sketch. He squints, scratching his patchy beard. "Yeah, he drew me once. Creepy vibe, too intense, man. Always with this quiet guy, shorter, kept to himself. Didn't talk much, just watched." My skin prickles, two of them matching the AI's hunch. Back at the precinct, I'm poring over Grayson's file. Born 1949, art school dropout, petty theft rap sheet from 71, nabbed lifting paints from a Mission Street shop. The AI chimes in, its voice a cold needle. Suspect mobility high. Pattern suggests next strike imminent, likely within weeks. I slump in my chair, staring at Harold's sketch. Those 8 stab marks glaring back like a ticking clock. The Doodler's out there. Maybe Carl. Maybe with a shadow trailing him. And these machines are tightening the noose. I stumble to the window, fog pressing thick against the glass, lights blurring into smears beyond. The hunt's heating up. Every lead a thread pulling me deeper. But the shadows are multiplying. Each answer spawns a dozen questions, and I'm racing a killer who's always one sketch ahead. Okay, folks, buckle up tight. We're hitting the wall now. San Francisco, 1974, where the fog's so damn thick you'd swear it's choking you, and the Doodler's trail is blazing like a lit fuse ready to blow this whole damn city apart. I'm Daniel Cunningham, strung out on gas station coffee and a chain-smoking habit that'd kill a horse, stuck down in the precinct basement with these AI rigs humming like they're cooking up something big. My hands are jittery as hell, my shirt's clinging to me with cold sweat, and the air's buzzing with a vibe I can't shake. Part dread, part pure adrenaline, the kind that tells you you're inches from cracking this nightmare wide open. The Doodler's got 6 notches on his belt: Gerald Kavanaugh, Joseph Stevens, Harold Goldberg, 3 more poor bastards I've memorized like a bad tattoo, and 3 survivors, too freaked out to even mutter his name without shaking. Carl Grayson's my guy now, 25, ex-bartender at the Stud, tall, skinny as a rail, dark skin, always toting that sketch pad like it's his lifeline to whatever twisted game he's playing. The AI's been piling up the dirt all week. He's local, fits the profile like he was born for it, and that second shadow in Golden Gate Park keeps clawing at my brain like a bad itch I can't scratch. I'm sick of guesses. I want this creep in cuffs, spilling his guts. So I shove Harold Goldberg's file into the simulator, the latest body still fresh enough to make my stomach turn. "Run it now!" I snarl, voice scraped raw like I've been yelling all night. The screen fires up, and the AI's voice cuts through, cold as a morgue slab. Reconstructing June 27th, 1975, Lincoln Park. Harold Goldberg, 31, Norwegian sailor, met suspect at the Stud, 10 p.m. Suspect sketched victim at the bar, shot the breeze, pitched a late-night walk. The 3D render rolls, Harold's knocking back a beer, grinning like a fool, while Carl, or some psycho, scribbles fast on a napkin, then smooth talks him out into the foggy black. 12:30 a.m., it drones on. Lincoln Park, near the cliffs. 8 stabs, quick and dirty. I watch the knife slash down, Harold hit the dirt hard, blood pooling like spilled ink. Then it locks up. Secondary figure detected. 5 meters back, holding something, probably a blade. my heart's thumping like a jackhammer on overdrive. Two of them again? I yell, pounding the desk so hard the ashtray flips, butts flying. The AI hums, soil data and witness proximity line up, 75% shot. I'm reeling like I've been sucker punched. Two killers? My head's spinning worse than a barstool drunk. I rip into Harold's file. June 28th. A jogger stumbled on him at dawn. 8 ragged slashes. Sketch jammed in his jacket pocket. Fog still hugging his cold body like a shroud. The AI's voice analyzer tagged Harvey's tape days back. He's got something locked up tight. I grab it, jam it in. Tall, skinny, dark skin, knife at my throat in the lot. It whirs and snaps. Stress jumps at knife. Hidden detail. Second voice, low, picked up in the background hum. I let loose a string of curses that'd make a trucker blush. Harvey heard another guy that night, and he's too scared to spill it. Then the data analyzer pings, sharp as a gunshot. Witness, June 27th, the stud. Bartender clocked 2 guys leaving with Goldberg. One tall, one shorter, both hush-hush. My gut flips hard. I missed it, buried in some sloppy note we'd laughed off as barfly nonsense. I bark at Eddie, my rookie sidekick with the curly mop. Get me Grayson's last address. Move your ass. He scrambles through the files, voice wobbling. Castro, 17th Street, apartment 6, 2 blocks from the stud. Last seen July 75. The AI chimes in. Odds of suspects still hanging around, 80%. I grab my jacket, gun heavy as sin in its holster, blood roaring in my ears like a freight train. Time to kick this bastard's door down and drag him out kicking. We peel out fast, tires screaming on wet asphalt, me and Eddie in my beat-up Falcon, fog swallowing the streets like a hungry beast. The Castro's alive and kicking tonight. Neon signs buzz over jammed bars, disco beats pound like a pulse. Folks spill out in bell-bottoms and glitter vests, laughing and hollering under the streetlights. But I'm zeroed in on 17th Street, a run-down tenement with peeling paint, smashed windows, and a stench of rot that hits you like a slap. I hammer on Carl's door, number 6, gun drawn, Eddie panting behind me like a scared pup. No answer, just a silence thick as the bay mist rolling in. I kick it in, wood splintering with a loud crack, and step into a dim, stinking rat hole. Empty beer bottles roll under my boots, cigarette butts litter the floor like ash snow, and sketches are plastered everywhere, pinned to the walls, scattered across the boards like some psycho's art show. Faces, dozens of them, guys from the stud, some I've seen slinging drinks, some strangers, all staring blank and creepy as hell. Then I spot it. Harold's sketch, rougher, a first draft, pinned above a filthy mattress, pencil lines jagged like they were scratched in a rush. My blood turns to ice water. He's been here, I mutter, voice tight as a drum. Eddie trips over a napkin, fresh ink, my face staring up, eyes hollowed out, mouth a grim slash like a death threat. Dan, he's got you in his sights, he gasps, face paling fast. The AI crackles from my pocket recorder. Analyzing sketches. Style match, 95%. Suspect activity recent, likely hours ago, high alert. Then the phone rings, shrill, slicing through the quiet like a damn siren. I snatch it up, breath coming in short, ragged bursts. A low, raspy voice growls through, "Back off, cop, or I draw you next. Real slow, real pretty, just for kicks." I'm stuck, receiver shaking in my grip like a live wire. "Who the hell's this?" I roar, but the line's gone cold as a grave. I slam it down, yelling, "Trace it! Eddie, now!" He fumbles with the AI's comm gadget, new tech, shaky as a drunk. its beep cutting through the haze. Call traced. Payphone, Castro, and Market, 5 minutes back. My brain's racing like a hot rod. Carl's watching me, playing me like a cheap guitar. I shove the voice into the analyzer. Male, 20 to 30. Stress low. Matches Grayson profile, 85% lock. Then it clicks. The second guy's real. I grab a sketch off the floor. 2 figures, faint as ghosts. One tall, one short, like a shadow riding Carl's coattails. The AI warns, pattern shift. Suspect knows he's cornered, getting cocky. I bolt back to the car, Eddie tripping over his own feet to keep up, his breath puffing white in the cold. He's here, in the Castro, moving like lightning. We tear through the streets, tires smoking, dodging the crowd. Bell-bottoms sway, platform heels clack, glitter catches the lights like sparks. I spot the payphone at Castro and Market, glass smeared with grime, receiver dangling like a taunt. A figure darts, tall, skinny, dark jacket, cutting into an alley across the street. "That's our boy!" I shout, gun out, chasing on foot through the madness, pulse hammering like a drum solo. The alley's a chokehold, narrow as hell, fog so thick it's like running through soup, trash cans crashing as I barrel through the stink. I corner him, Carl Grayson, eyes wild like a trapped mutt, sketchpad clutched tight under his arm like it's gold. "Hands up, you son of a bitch!" I roar, gun steady, aimed dead center on his chest. He smirks, slow and nasty, lifting his hands like it's all a big joke. "Too late, cop. Always too damn late, huh?" I step in, heart slamming so hard I can feel it in my throat. 6 dead. Gerald, Joseph, Harold. "You're done, you twisted freak." He laughs, sharp and bitter, slicing through the haze like a razor. "You think I'm the whole deal? You're dumber than a bag of hammers." My fingers itching on the trigger. Then I hear it, gravel crunching soft behind me, sneaky as a snake. I spin fast, but a shadow's on me, shorter, quick as a jackrabbit, metal flashes in the murk. Eddie yells, "Dan! Duck!" A knife slashes, carving my arm, blood hot and sticky down my sleeve, soaking my jacket. I fire. 2 shots rip the night, booming off the bricks like thunder. Carl lunges, eyes blazing like a mad dog, but I tackle him hard, slamming him face first into the wet dirt, knee grinding into his spine till he howls. The second guy's gone, melted into the fog like a damn phantom. Carl's wheezing, spitting mud. "You'll never catch him. He's the real Doodler, not me, you idiot." The AI buzzes from my pocket. Suspect detained, secondary figure unaccounted, profile incomplete. I cuff Carl, wrists snapping under steel, my arm dripping red onto the pavement, breath heaving like I've run a marathon. I glare into the mist where that shadow slipped away, fog curling thick around the alley's mouth. I've got one pinned, bleeding and cursing under me, but the other's out there, still sketching, still hunting. And this ain't the end, folks. It's just the damn curtain rising on Act 2. Okay, folks, here we are. The smoke's clearing, but the stink's still hanging heavy. San Francisco, 1974, where the fog's a blanket you can't shake, and the shadows play hide-and-seek with the truth. I'm Daniel Cunningham, slouched in the precinct basement, arm wrapped in a half-assed bandage, blood still crusted on my sleeve from that alley brawl. Carl Grayson's cooling his heels upstairs in a holding cell, cuffed tight and spitting venom, his sketchpad locked away in evidence, dozens of faces staring out, some cold in the morgue, some still walking around, all marked by his twisted pencil. I've got one piece of this bloody puzzle nailed down, but the other piece, that second shadow, slipped through the fog like a damn phantom, leaving me with a sour taste and a case that's dangling loose like a busted thread. The AI's still humming beside me, screens flickering green and amber, throwing numbers and guesses like it's mocking my half-baked victory. I lean back in my creaky chair, spark up a lucky strike, and let the smoke drift slow, trying to stitch together what just went down in this mess. 6 dead. Gerald Kavanaugh, Joseph Stevens, Harold Goldberg. 3 others who haunt my nights, and now Carl's swearing he's just the opening act, not the main event. "He's the real Doodler," he hissed, face smashed into the alley muck. "I just draw him? You're chasing the wrong guy, cop." My head's throbbing like a cheap drum. Did I snag the sidekick and let the kingpin stroll free? Let's back it up a sec. After I slapped the cuffs on Carl, Eddie and me dragged him back to the station, tires squealing through the Castro's neon jungle, the crowd splitting like a sea of glitter, bell-bottoms, and bad haircuts. He's in the interrogation room now, slumped across from me, that cocky smirk plastered on like it's glued there. I slam the sketches down, Harold's, Joseph's, Gerald's, growling low, "Spill it, you bastard! Who's your pal?" He laughs, a nasty little bark that grates my nerves. "Pal? He ain't my pal. He's the brains, the blade. I sketch, he carves. You're barking up the wrong tree, tough guy." The AI's voice analyzer's hooked up in the corner, humming like a fridge. Stress low, truth probability 70%. Subject deflecting, holding back key details. I slam my fist on the table, coffee splashing over the rim. "Names, Carl. Give me a goddamn name, or I'll beat it out of you." He leans back, eyes gleaming like a snake's. "You'll meet him when he draws you. Short guy, quiet as a mouse, real artist with a knife. I'm just the lure, man." I'm steaming, ready to lunge across the table, but he's shutting down, and the clock's ticking louder than a bomb in my skull. Down in the basement, I'm clawing through the AI's data, fishing for anything to grab onto. The simulators still got Harold's last night loaded up. Lincoln Park, 8 stabs, that second figure lurking 5 meters back in the shadows. I rerun it, eyes glued to that blurry shape, shorter, gripping something, maybe a knife, then it melts into the fog like a bad dream. The data analyzer chimes in, cold and flat. Secondary suspect profile incomplete. Male, likely 20 to 25, height 5 feet 6 inches to 5 feet 8 inches, based on soil tread. Connection to Grayson, 85%. I mutter, "Great, a short spook. Real useful, huh?" Then it clicks. Tommy, that wiry kid from the Eagle, said Carl ran with a quiet guy, shorter, always hanging back like a creep. I dig out his statement. Didn't talk much, just watched, gave me the chills. The AI cross-checks. Witness consistency high. Secondary suspect cited at the stud. June 75, pattern holds. My gut's twisting into knots. Tommy saw him, Harvey heard him, but I've got no face, no name, just whispers and ghosts. I'm staring at Carl's napkin sketch of me, pinned to the wall now, eyes hollowed out, mouth a grim slash, like a death note with my name on it. Did the real Doodler scratch this out, or was Carl just yanking my chain? Upstairs, the precinct's a madhouse. Captain Rossi's barking like a junkyard dog. Eddie's hammering out reports on a clacking typewriter. Phones ringing off the hook like it's Grand Central. I limp up, arm throbbing like hell, and Rossi's on me fast, cigar smoke choking the air. "You nabbed one, Cunningham. Nice job, hotshot. But what's this two-killer nonsense?" I shrug, voice scraped raw. "Carl's singing a tune. Says he's the sidekick, not the star. Second guy's still out there, calling shots." Rossi's face goes red as a beet, smoke puffing out his nose. "Bullshit. Wrap it up. Pin it all on Grayson. City's jumping at shadows." I snap back. Rap it? 6 dead, 3 scared stiff, and the real psycho's loose out there. He glares, jabbing that cigar at me. You've got no proof, just a punk's word and your fancy toy downstairs. I storm out, slamming the door so hard it rattles the frame, knowing he's half right. Evidence is shaky as hell, and the AI's my only leg to stand on with this hunch. Back in the basement, I replay Harvey's tape, straining for that faint second voice, low, clipped, almost a whisper behind Harvey's panic. The analyzer hums. Voice distinct from Grayson. Secondary suspect probability 80%. I slump hard, staring at the cracked ceiling. Harvey's too terrified to talk, and I've got no juice to haul him in and shake him loose. The streets outside are hushed now, fog rolling thick over the Castro, muffling the disco thump and bar chatter into a dull hum. I hit the stud one last time, leaning on the barkeep, that grizzled old-timer with the handlebar mustache and a chipped tooth. Carl's quiet, buddy. Short, creepy. You spot him lately? He squints, wiping a glass with a rag that's seen better days. Yeah, couple weeks back. Sat in the corner, sketching on a coaster. Didn't touch his beer much. Left when Carl did. Stuck to him like glue. My pulse kicks up a notch. Get a name? Anything? He shakes his head slow. Nope. Just another face in the crowd. Quiet as a graveyard, that one. I step out, boots scuffing the wet pavement, the neon flickering dim behind me as the fog swallows it whole. Back at the precinct, I've got the AI running Carl's sketches again. Style's steady, but one stands out, cleaner, sharper. Harold's final draft. Not that rough practice run. The machine buzzes. Anomaly detected. Secondary artistic signature. 60% distinct from Grayson's. 2 hands, 2 killers. One's in a cage, one's free as a bird. I light another smoke, hands shaky, staring at that sketch of me pinned up like a warning shot. Is he out there right now? Pencil scratching, lining up his next hit? So here's where it lands, folks. No neat little bow, no credits rolling with a happy tune. Carl Grayson's locked up tight, facing 6 murder raps, but he's grinning like a fox in a henhouse, swearing the real Doodler's out there laughing his ass off in the fog. The AI's handed me half the story. Grayson's the bait, the sketch guy. But that second shadow? He's the blade, the brains, the one still breathing free air somewhere in this city. Rossi's itching to slam the book shut. The city's begging for calm. But I can't let it go. Those 6 faces plastered on my wall. The 3 who made it out alive. That sketch of me staring back like a promise he's itching to keep. I stumble to the window, fog pressing thick against the glass, street lights smearing into blobs of yellow and red. The Doodler, or whatever's left of him, is out there, maybe blocks away, maybe holed up in some dive, sketching some poor sap who doesn't know what's coming. The AI hums one last time. Case unresolved. Secondary suspect at large. Threat active. I take a deep drag, smoke burning my lungs raw, and mutter, Yeah, tell me something I don't know. Did I stop the bleeding, or just scare off the hired help? The streets stay quiet. The fog keeps its mouth shut, and I'm left standing here, wondering, will he strike again? And whose face is he drawing tonight? That's it, folks. I'm leaving you right here in the gray, same as me, with the jazz fading out and the shadows still calling the shots.